Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be having a little bit of a look at Genesect. It seems rude not to, ladies and gentlemen. Given that we've already looked at Metal today, we're having a little bit of a metal-themed day, I suppose. So it's probably only fair to have a little bit of a look at Genesect. I should mention our translation here comes from the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net. And if we have a look at the basics to start us off here, obviously it benefits from the fact that it is a metal Pokemon. Being a metal Pokemon means you get Delmise to do a little bit of extra damage. It means that you can take advantage of hitting weakness on things like Sylveon and Gardevoir. And it means that you've got things like Metal Frying Pan, reduces damage by 30 and takes away your weakness. Or Metal Core Barrier that only lasts for a single turn but reduces damage done by 70. Or Lucario and Melmetal's GX attack, which reduces damage done to all your metal Pokemon by 30 until the end of the game. Lot to like about this. 130 HP is good because you're just out of range of things like Zoroark and Buzzwole. Retreat cost of 2 is kind of annoying. Weakness to fire would be bad because of Blacephalon, but honestly, you've got 130 HP. And then resistance to Psychic, it's nice to have a resistance. But it is the ability and attack with which we are primarily concerned here. And the ability here is quite a nice one. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a GX or EX Pokemon, this Pokemon has no retreat cost. Cool. That's really nice. It's a really nice ability. Free retreaters are good. A whole bunch of people have been playing Tapu Koko lately, and look, Flying Flip is a really good attack. Double colorless energy, 20 to each of your opponent's Pokemon. But let's not forget the fact that a lot of people are playing it because it's got free retreat, and free retreat is a huge advantage. So that's kind of nice. This gives you free retreat most of the time. I mean, being a basic Pokemon, the ability can be turned off by Alolan Muck. And you're not always going to be against a GX Pokemon. But if we look at the best decks at the moment, the suggestion is that actually most of the time you will be. Things like Blacephalon and Zoroark really are ruling the format at the moment. If we look at the best decks in the format right now, the majority of them are very GX heavy. That's not to say they all are. We've seen some Malamar decks with Tapu Koko and Giratina spreading damage around that have been seeing a fair amount of success. I'm not here to suggest that the only good decks at the moment are ones that are playing GXs, but I am saying that we're in a format at the moment where most of them are. Coming out of Team Up, we expect, and I think it's a fair assumption to make, that Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX is going to become the best deck in the format. So actually here, yeah, you're not always going to get free retreat, but more often than not you are, and that's really good. But having a Pokemon with free retreat isn't enough. What we really want here is a good attack, and I like the attack here. Evidently, what it does for a metal and 2 colorless energy, 30 to the active, and 30 to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. It is a spreading attack, and right now we need to go right back to Tapu Koko. Now, we were looking at Tapu Koko just a minute ago. Tapu Koko does 20 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon, which is quite nice. But a lot of the time, people are either deciding between this or whether they're going to go for Latios from Shining Legends, which for a double colorless energy does 30 to the active and 30 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Well, this does 30 to the active and 30 to 2 bench, and quite frankly, this is obviously a better attack than Latios. Now, in terms of weakness here, it's actually really nice because you're hitting weakness on both routes and Alolan Vulpix. And with Alolan Ninetales being quite as good as it is at the moment, Alolan Vulpix is great. The vast majority of Stage 2 decks are playing Alolan Vulpix to search out Pokemon with Beacon, and then Alolan Ninetales to search out the rare candy. Stage 2 decks are really taking advantage of this evolution line, which is pretty gosh darn amazing. So here, you can be taking out something like an Alolan Vulpix while doing 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So you're hitting a nice amount of damage here. The weakness is going to work. Now, if you're taking out something like Alolan Ninetales or Sylveon, rather than the pre-evolution, then no, it's not going to go quite as well. Because generally speaking here, you'll hit 30. Even with a Choice Band, you're up to 60. That's 120 with weakness. You can add in something like Shrine of Punishment, but you're still not there. And you can use the aforementioned Delmise, but even so, it's going to take a lot here to get up to a KO. Now, it is doable. 4 Delmise plus a Choice Band plus a 30 base will hit 100. Doubled for weakness will be 200, which will take out Sylveon and Alolan Ninetales. That's really nice. But that's a lot to ask for, ladies and gentlemen. It is an awful lot to ask for. Not to say that it's not going to happen. It absolutely could happen. But it is to say that it is a lot to ask for. But the point of this attack isn't just, hey, I'm going to take out the active. Because what you're also doing here is spreading damage around to the bench. And 30 is a much, much better number than 20. It's why so many people are playing Latios when you've got Tapu Koko, when Latios only hits 2 Pokemon and Tapu Koko hits all of them. There's a whole bunch of 60 HP Pokemon out there, as well as things like Routes and Alolan Vulpix I've already mentioned. You could look at something like Zorua. You could look at something like Rockruff. And although a lot of the things, and Rockruff is a prime example of this, have options for 60 or 70 HP, we've got Professor Al's Lecture at the moment, which lets you search for free Pokemon with 60 HP or less. Which means even where you've got a 70 HP option, we are incentivized to play a 60 HP basic. And the great thing here is you are 2-hit KOing a 60 HP basic, whereas something like Tapu Koko, you'd be 3-hit KOing. And this isn't taking a prize, but you basically say to your opponent, look, I've just done 30 damage to a Zorua. So either you evolve it up, in which case you got a Zoroark that gives up 2 prizes but has only got 180 HP remaining, or you don't evolve it up and I'm going to KO it next turn. So they've got to evolve it up. You can do 30 damage to each of 2 Zorua, and your opponent has to evolve them, because anyone they don't evolve gets KO'd the following turn. It's basically Jet Punch, but you also do 30 damage to another bench Pokemon. And you are going to constantly be putting your opponent in a position where either they evolve up, or I suppose play something like an Ace Roller on a basic Pokemon, but then they can't even evolve it next turn, so I don't think that's going to be the best idea. Or you take cheeky KOs, you take extra prizes, and that's what I love about this. This is an attack that can take you multiple prizes. We've all had that game where we get our basics out and just can't evolve. And anytime your opponent doesn't evolve, even for a turn, you're getting a KO. You're taking them out. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, that can be all you need to win the game. Now, I do have to mention the attack cost here. The attack cost is far from ideal. Metal Double Colorless is a bit of a pain. Now, you can use Double Colorless, which is good, though you are a little bit vulnerable to stuff like Enhanced Hammer. But that third energy is a pain. Maybe you're using something like Solgaleo Prism Star. Maybe you're using something like Magnezone. Otherwise, it can get a little bit awkward. In Expanded, you've got Max Elixir, which will help to get that extra energy, which is quite nice. And then maybe you come across something like a 30 HP Joltik, and it's kind of hilarious. But otherwise, yeah, the free energy is a bit of a problem. Then again, go first, put an energy on here, next turn Double Colorless, you're rolling. Or put it into a Solgaleo deck, or put it into a Magnezone deck. It's not the easiest energy cost to hit, but it is doable here. And the fact of the matter is, this is a really nice attack. And it really can push the prize race in your favour. It is let down by the attack cost, so let's give it 3 Wassies. I think this is the kind of card where if you're playing a metal deck, especially one with a little bit of energy acceleration, this really does warrant being considered. And maybe you're playing something like Malamar here, especially if you're playing Ultra Necrozma, which wants metal energy anyway, and then actually you can accelerate 2 energy with Malamar, attach the metal, and you're off rolling. I just think this is the kind of Pokemon that's going to see play, free retreat, multiple prizes per turn potentially. I could be on board with this. But ladies and gentlemen, I would very much like to know if you're on board with it. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. But please do remember the most important rule as always. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk Transformers and Keyforge and other games that take our fancy. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.